Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Angela Anderson Show. I'm so excited to see all of you here today. And just a reminder, the Angela Anderson Show is where we help moms live their dreams while taking care of their families. And I am your host, Angela Anderson. Just a little bit about why I created this show. It's a result of a virtual summit that I hosted during the summer of 2022. It was called Get Your Life on Track, Walk in Your Purpose. And the focus was on mothers who wanted to identify their purpose and live it fully while taking care of their family. For 14 days, I interviewed top speakers and influencers who shared information and great tips that assisted mothers in finding their purpose, pursuing their goals, and living their dream, all while taking care of their family. There was such a popular demand, so I created this talk show where I'll continue to empower moms out there to see their value, understand their importance, and reclaim their identity. So today I have a special guest with me, Jeuelle Ottley-Sam. Let me tell you a little bit about Jeuelle. She's a certified physician assistant with a passion for mental health care. She helps people build brain healthy lifestyles with a holistic approach to wellness through integrative psychiatry. Her passion is to help women who are overwhelmed with stress, anxiety, and depression to reclaim their nutrition and lifestyle habits, empowering them to take back their mental and physical wellness through holistic methods without feeling alone or confused on how to make impactful changes a part of their lives. Jeuelle is married and she is the mother of two girls, a teenager and a teenager, 11 and 15. So excited to have Jeuelle on here with us. And before we bring Jeuelle out to speak with us, let's go to a commercial. Are you looking for a devotional that's down to earth and lighthearted? Well, look no further. Just When I Thought I Knew God is the book for you. It's a 40-day devotional journal with an area for you to write your notes after each daily devotional. It makes a great gift for yourself, for family, for loved ones, and for that special mom in your life. And Mother's Day is right around the corner. So it is available now on Amazon, and it also is in Kindle format. So purchase your copy today and get one for someone else. All right, welcome back. And as I said before, we're going to talk with Jeuelle today. I'm excited to have her. And let's invite her now. Hey, Jeuelle.
Hello. Good to see you, girl.
Good to see you too. It's been a while. So happy that you are here with us and able to share with us and all the moms out there. So, Jeuelle, let's start with you and your profession. You see all those letters after your name. Tell us what that means and tell us what your current profession is.
So I am an integrative psychiatry physician associate. So I specialize in mental health, wellness and care, medication management, treatment plans, but I do it from a holistic or integrative perspective, merging traditional modern medicine with a natural supplementation and lifestyle medicine, and nutrition and self-care and just a holistic approach to mind-body wellness in conjunction with my traditional practice.
Wonderful. And I love the way that, your passion ties in with your career, in the medical field, because for some people it's not that way. Some people are at work and they're doing their thing and, their passion or their purpose might be something completely different. So in this case, you're able to merge the two and actually I would imagine like one helps the other, if not both.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a job like any other, so it can be stressful and overwhelming. That's just the nature of it, right?
Right.
But definitely, I am so blessed and so grateful that I'm spending my days doing something that I enjoy, right? Like
Yeah.
I enjoy connecting with people and I enjoy being able to support them.
Right.
And particularly in this area of specialty when in our communities, there's been such a lack of support and misunderstanding, misinformation, and just
Right.
being able to partner with people in healing and changing generations, right? Because
Yes.
now more people are reaching out. And that means their kids are seeing them take care of their mental health and
Right.
beyond. So I'm really honored to be able to do this work.
Right. And, you just mentioned something very important. And this month, the month of May, it is Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yeah.
And like you said, there is I don't know if I want to call it an outpouring, but there just seems to be, well, more acceptance for mental health, specifically even after the pandemic, everything that's going on in society. The other day, I attended a conference and they were talking about Gen Z, right?
Mhm.
The little ones and all of the things that they've experienced in life, including the pandemic, mass
Mhm.
shootings, things that are happening with the environment, global warming, and the political divisiveness, and so many things out there that they just need this.
Mhm.
And as a mom, and you're a mom also, I
Mhm.
think the best example that we can set is actually putting it as a priority. Um, Self care has so many definitions. One being, mental, um, mental care, mental wellness.
Mhm.
So, yeah, that's an awesome point. So, Jewel, did you always want to do this? As a little girl growing up, did you see yourself doing this?
Um, as a kid growing up, I knew I wanted to be in healthcare and practice um, in the medical field of some kind, but I
Mhm.
wasn't really sure.
Mhm.
I've been a PA for over 20 years now, but I didn't start in psychiatry and mental health, where I really feel my passion is now. So I started out in general medicine and I worked in other subspecialties for a period of time. But I believe I was led in this direction
Mhm.
um, in my career after taking a hiatus. I
Mhm.
homeschooled for several years for my
Wow.
girls. We relocated out of state, moved down to Florida where I met you.
Yes.
And for that period of time, being out of regular, full-time clinical practice, adjusting to life, had some personal and family mental health challenges
Yeah.
that we had to face.
Mhm.
And then, just the process of healing through that, learning, researching, and then finding ways to merge what I knew clinically as a clinician,
Mhm.
right, with, holistic support and spiritual support, all of that together kind of
Right.
positioned me to get back into full-time practice now with this, clear vision.
That's awesome. And I love hearing that. So, let me ask you, when you were homeschooling your girls and, you were basically 24/7, putting your putting your all into it. And for those moms out there who are doing the homeschooling thing, more power to you. I know that has to be hard.
Yeah.
I've never done that. I've never been on that journey. But let me ask you, did you imagine or did you plan on going back into your field or your profession at some point? Or did you have it in your mind, like was, you were going to do it for some time? Like um, how did you think through that as you were doing the homeschooling?
Sure. So, I mean, initially it started, we started homeschooling when we relocated. So it was pretty much a quick move. My husband got a job like February, March, and they wanted him there by the summer. It was
Right,
that type of thing. So we had like 3 months to move.
right,
I knew working in healthcare that I would find work anywhere. So I was like, oh, okay, I guess we're moving. And
right.
I was doing psychiatry before, we
Right.
moved. But I was fortunate to have a flexible schedule. I was still nursing my youngest. She wasn't even 2 yet,
Right.
so I was like, okay, we'll figure it out,
Mhm.
and we had thought about homeschooling. So when we relocated, it was kind of quick. I hadn't found a job as yet. So I said,
Yes.
well, let's try this year to homeschool, instead of
Mhm.
putting my then oldest in pre-K. I was like, well, pre-K, this is a good a good way to try, right? Let's
Right.
do some first grade pre-K work with her. Let's get settled, living in a new state. And that's how it started. Um,
Right.
we loved it. I loved it. I enjoyed what I did. Once again, it was very difficult. Any homeschooling mom will tell you that it has its own challenges, but I was grateful that I had that time.
Mhm.
And I'm always, as a mom, you're always thinking ahead. So in my mind, I'm like, yeah, I'll get back into practice eventually. I'll
Right.
figure something out. I did some odd hours here and there. I would volunteer at practices just to keep my experience up and, stay abreast of what was going on clinically, make sure I kept my licenses and certifications. Um,
Right.
but as I went through the journey with mental health struggles, supporting, my family, I realized, well, when I get back into this is what I really want to do. When I get back into clinical practice, I really want to practice from this perspective. And then I
Yeah.
started thinking about coaching. At first, I didn't know. I figured it was going to take a while to get fully back into practice. So I said, well, let me start with health coaching. So I did
Right.
training in health coaching along the lines of, holistic mental health. And I did some more certifications, all
Mhm.
working towards this goal of, knowing I was going to get back into it
Mhm.
eventually when the right opportunity arose.
Right. And that's amazing. And from that, you have a business, or started a business in brain health. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, yeah. So your fit brain, it kind of goes in tandem. I see patients, most days out of the week,
Mhm.
as a psychiatric PA,
Mhm.
but building a coaching practice and an education, mental health education practice on the side. So
Right.
I've focused my services on supporting women, as you described
Right.
earlier, just showing them how to live a full life,
Mhm.
even in this crazy life,
Yes.
when they're struggling with stress and anxiety and depression, helping people understand how to take care of themselves and how
Yes.
to support themselves, the power that they have, even as they work with a mental health provider. I will always recommend you get a connection and you get an evaluation, but
Mhm.
it's not just on them and whatever prescription they write or whatever modality that your therapist uses. There's so much that you can do for yourself, whether it's nutrition, whether it's prioritizing self-care and healthy boundaries, whether it's nurturing your spiritual health, all of those elements I love to help nurture people on and educate them on so they can create a holistic um, way of living, right? That, supports them mind, body, and spirit.
Right. That's amazing. And I do remember um, either going onto your site or finding some really helpful information, maybe flyers and um, things that I could practice just from day to day. So maybe a little bit later, you can tell us how to, get in touch with that part of things. Um, so Jewel, in all of that you have been doing, and and I'm sure you've found it to be fulfilling for yourself personally. You mentioned, how it helped you and your family. Now with raising two daughters, is specifically, in their teenage years,
Yeah.
and we all know everyone who, um, my kids. I have, a 5-year-old, and I have a teenager. I have one who's about to be 11, and they're boys, but still, it's like you start to see. Um, I don't even know how to articulate it. It just changes,
Yeah.
right? Not just in behavior, but some of the things that they're going through in school and with their peers, and
Mhm.
things that used to not matter, and now it does matter.
Mhm.
Um, and just wanting to be there for them. How have you, I guess, used your profession and your knowledge in assisting your children?
Whew. So I'll first start out by saying I'm figuring everything out just like you are, and just like any other mother out
Mhm.
there. And I don't have all of the answers, right? And anyone who tells you that they have the answers or the remedy or the fix, they're reaching a bit, right?
Right, right.
Because we're all struggling, we're all in it together, right? I have a very good friend who tells me all the time, she's like, your kids are going to be okay. She's like, you're putting in the right things for them,
Mhm.
and life is going to do what life is going to do. But
Right.
kids are going to be okay because they have you, and they have, my husband, and they have family. And she's like, that's so much more than other people may have, right?
Right.
Um, so I tend to be anxious. That's my natural baseline since I was a kid. I tend to be anxious, right? I know how to support it now. I have
Mhm.
my own therapist. I have my supplement regimen. I have my lifestyle regimen that I have to keep on point to help manage that and help me stay in the best balance. But my natural anxiety is always to think ahead. Oh my gosh, what does this mean? Or what's going to happen? Or this is a problem. And if I don't stop it now, it's going to turn into snowball into this big thing, and my kid is going to be some degenerate, And that's
Right.
how my mind.
We all think that.
It just snowballs, right?
Right.
If
Mhm.
you don't practice like intercepting thoughts when they come, and then that is my daily journey. That's some of the things that I counsel patients and coaching clients on. It's like we have control over our thoughts. Sometimes it's easier than others, but you have to learn to intercept those thoughts and learn to just kind of take a deep breath and focus on what's in front of us at this moment, right? One of the best things I think I'm glad that I provided for my girls was this comfort with talking about feelings and talking about mental health. So
Mm.
my girls know about therapists. My girls have seen therapists for different periods of time for different adjustments when they had stress. And I am grateful that I gave that to them, because that's not something you and I probably didn't grow up with, right? No one was
Right.
really going to therapy and
Yeah.
about how to manage, right?
It was taboo,
Yeah, it was taboo. It wasn't a thing that, and when we got to college or got on our own, we just kind of figured things out on our own.
Right.
And one of the things I am most happy to give to my girls is that comfort to know now, if they feel like they're having a stressful time or an anxious time, that they can connect with somebody who can help walk them through that. I can support them based on my clinical experience, but it's nice for them to have someone else who's trained and who works with teams,
Sure.
and they can, talk through things with. And
Right.
then, as my daughter's 15 and she's going to be graduating in a couple of years to go to college,
Mhm.
I'm happy because I know, like, at least she knows that she can reach out. Like, she can tell me if she's struggling,
Right.
or she can find her own therapist when she's away at college.
Right.
And
Right.
I think clinically, because I see so many college students, so many young women, so many people out there struggling so much,
Yeah.
carrying so much,
Mm.
because they didn't realize the resources that were available to them and how they could have been living life in a different way with support, just
Wow.
not reaching out for that help. So that's one of the things that I'm happy that I'm giving my girls
Yes.
and providing for them, because I feel like holding on to emotional strain or stress and not
Mhm.
understanding how to manage that and use tools, I think
Mhm.
it's one of the greatest roots for some patients that I see now in their adult years who've had chronic stress and issues. And if they had just met a therapist in their 20s, and taught
Right.
them how to have healthy boundaries in relationships, or how to
Right.
have greater self-confidence, or how to speak up for themselves, or how to manage their anxiety, if that had happened 20 years ago, their
Right.
life as an adult would look so much different, right?
Right.
So
Wow. That wow. That blew me away. Just the thought of all of that.
mm, mm,
And I think even all of us listening, we can identify with that, whether it's personally
mhm,
or someone we know.
mhm,
But the wonderful thing is, Jewel, is that you are sharing that with your daughters, with your children. And I encourage everyone out there to do that. Be open with your feelings, talk about feelings,
mhm,
give your children, moms, give them a safe space to talk.
mhm,
Let them know there is help out there. And, it's not always the parent that acts as the therapist. There are, professional therapists out there, and the relationship is different.
yeah,
Um, children might be able to, explain themselves a little bit better to
mhm,
someone once the trust is built, in that regard. So, Jewel, I appreciate that piece definitely right there. So, as a mom and, with, your career and then your fit brain, what do you think is the greatest challenge while being a mom and continuing with your career and pursuing this dream, of having all of these moving parts, in your life and in your career?
Mhm. I think my greatest challenge in this season is being in the here and now.
Mm,
As I mentioned, I tend to be a little anxious, and then I think for most women, we're forward thinkers. We're always thinking 6 steps ahead. That's what we do in
right,
our partnerships, in our relation, and for our families in general, right? Regardless if we have a partner or not, we're always 6 steps ahead. And I
right,
think that's my biggest challenge right now, focusing on the moment. I'm always thinking ahead or thinking of where I thought I would be at this time,
right.
and then again, it kind of get into that cycle of, oh, well, I should have done this a few years ago, or maybe if I didn't homeschool so long, I would be
Mm,
further along in this part of my career on these new goals that I have, right? Or
right,
maybe if I'd started the coaching. I mean, it's just the way our brains tend to be. We're always second guessing ourselves and
right,
being often hypercritical of our
right.
decisions currently and in the past when we review the past as well. So just being, vulnerable here, that is my biggest struggle. I'm always thinking ahead, thinking about where I want to be, and if I'm moving fast enough in that
Right,
direction, right?
right.
And that is like my new, what I'm working on in these next few weeks and months is the mindfulness, just being able to be present in a moment, calming my mind, and just being okay with where I am in a moment. Right? I can still have hopes and dreams, but I hold them loosely in my hands. Trusting that God is going to work out the plans that I have
Right,
in the best way, and the plans may look the way that I expect them to, what I think is a good thing, and they may look completely different. And
right,
that's for someone with anxiety who tends to be an overthinker. That can be difficult, right? Like
right.
having a hope and dream, but you're just holding it in my hand loosely. Like, this is what I want. I know this is a good thing, but I am open to what God brings my way.
Yeah,
Um, um, that is my challenge,
yeah.
and I get the vibe from other women that that is a challenge as well.
It definitely is, just to sit and believe that everything happens in time,
Mhm.
and right now might not be the time,
Mhm.
and just to be patient and watch, your purpose take its course and realize that it is a journey,
Mhm.
and the journey has different seasons, and the journey has different um, stops and starts,
Mm.
and
Mhm.
just not to look back with regret, but to look back and realize, yes, all of that happened for a reason right then. And now here I am, and here I'm going, forward.
Mhm.
So, yeah, great points. Um, so, Jewel, if someone wanted to either get in contact with you, not you personally, but I want to put a little banner across here. Maybe you could tell us, your website or something about your Fit Brain,
Mhm.
so that our listeners, because we're also on Spotify, so they might not be able to see the visual.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So you can find me at yourfitbrain.com. If you want to go to a website, most people are on social media. So I'm on Facebook as well as Instagram and TikTok as Your Fit Brain. You could send me a direct message there. I also see patients virtually with a company called Luna Joy. The company is hellolunajoy.com. And that's where I do provide mental health and psychiatric services, integrative psychiatry services. So that's a great opportunity as well. We do see patients in multiple states. So you can reach me there, or you can send me a message on social media and I'll provide you with a direct link. If you'd like to have an assessment, and assessments don't necessarily mean you're getting a prescription. It could just be, we just talk it out, figure out where you are, and I can, share holistic support and a well-rounded support plan with you. for your own mental health and wellness.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Jeuelle. That was amazing and a wealth of information. And for those of you who don't know, I am a life coach for moms. I empower moms to identify their purpose and then live it fully while they're taking care of their families. So that's a lot of us here and a lot of us who are watching this show. So if you have a dream that you haven't quite yet gotten off the ground or even started and you're not sure how, let me show you how. I can definitely help you with that. And you can schedule a consultation, a free consultation with me. And that's www.chatwithcoachangela.com, chatwithcoachangela.com. And during our session, we'll talk about if my program is the best for you. And we'll get you started with getting your goals in action. So for everyone else, I want to thank you for watching the Angela Anderson Show. And if you like what you saw, and share it and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's at the Angela Anderson Show. And as I mentioned before, we're also on Spotify for our audio listeners. And it's the Angela Anderson Show. And you can hit the follow button. It airs every Wednesday on YouTube and Facebook, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. But if you miss it, you can always go back. It'll be right there for you. Jeuelle, thank you so much again for everything that you shared and just for being here with us. We're so glad for the information. So until next time, everyone, take good care and we will see you next time.